When I met this sweet gentleman from IIM Kashipur, a thought came to me, and that is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So this guy from Agra, who freshly graduated from IIM Kashipur, believes in hard work. He did not crack CAT in the first attempt, but then he realized that he had to make it work for him because he was determined. So he decided to go all out and give it the best that he had. He worked very hard for it and then eventually cracked it, got himself in a very nice place, and today he's here with me. So let's welcome him. Hi Sankalp.
Hi,
Good to have you over here.
Same, good. It's good to have, having this conversation with you.
So Sankalp, I was just telling everybody out there about you. You are Sankalp Agarwal and you're from Agra.
Yeah.
So from Agra to Bengaluru, you have had a long journey through your engineering and MBA and everything. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your journey?
Sure. So my journey basically started, I would say, when I did my 10th. So I got a very good score in my 10th board examinations. I was always, one of the toppers in my school. And it was that point of time when I was kind of deciding, what next, when I'm coming to 11th, what next for me? What career options do I have? And during that moment, a couple of members in my family cracked IIT. And I was mesmerized by the kind of attention that they got all across the family.
Oh, so Poopa ji aa rahe hain mithai leke, Jeeja ji aa rahe hain kapde lekar ke, ye wala attention.
Exactly. And like whenever you used to, kind of go to any family function or a family gathering, talks were about, these two guys, getting into
Right.
the IIT in the next few months. So I was mesmerized by that. And, I thought that, if these guys can crack it, I also have been, one of the toppers in my school, so I can crack it too. So that was the time when I, decided that, I'll start with my engineering preparations. And I started with it. I went to Super 30 in the initial phase, the Super 30 in Patna, which is a famous coaching institute. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to continue there because I kind of fell sick, caught jaundice. So I had to come back and I continued my preparation from Agra itself.
Okay.
So that was my journey. Then I was not able to crack any of the IITs, but then I got a decent college, JP Noida, which is one of the good colleges in North India. And I started with my computer science engineering there.
Okay.
So when I went into the college, I chose computer science because I always kind of had a flair for coding. I was, fascinated by that you get a problem and that you solve it writing a code. And I was good at it, so I chose it. But somehow in my mind or in my heart, I knew that I have a bigger knack for management kind of a roles. I was always fascinated with, how you could kind of take certain decisions or apply some models and then, you could make a business out of it. So I realized that I needed to do an MBA for it. Also, one good thing for me was that in my family, there have been a lot of IIT and IIM graduates. So I always, knew about that, okay, there is something which
so
is...
those same attention wala people?
Those people, and apart from that as well,
also.
other people who had, kind of cracked a good MBA colleges.
Okay.
So they were also, kind of working into some good organizations in good roles, brand building roles. So I knew that, okay, this is the path. There is an exam called CAT, there are institutions called IIMs wherein you can do your MBA. And I kind of, had an idea about it. So when I started, I also, at that point of time, IIM Indore almost started its 5-year integrated program.
Okay.
So I wrote that exam as well. Without any preparation, I cracked the exam.
That is IPMAT, IPM.
IPMAT,
Right.
yes. So I cracked the exam. I went for an interview. After the interview, the final composite score came. And I think by approximately 1 mark, I could not make it into the final list.
Okay.
So I continued with my, engineering. And so I realized one thing with that examination, that if without preparation, I can crack such kind of an examination. So if I prepare enough, then I'll be able to crack that. That gave me kind of sort of a confidence. So then engineering happened. 1 year, I was I always had fun solving questions of quantitative aptitude. So I had a book of Arihant along with me, which I kept, and whenever I used to find time, I used to solve questions from there, from the internet, and I used to have fun solving those questions.
Oh, so people solve quants questions for exams, and you used to solve them for fun?
Yeah, because I thought it's like a puzzle. It's not some kind of a maths question. That is what I always say to the aspirants as well. Do not treat quant and LRDI as something which you have to study and then you have to solve. No, it's fun to solve it. It's like a quiz. It's like a puzzle.
Even VARC is fun to solve. Please don't say like that, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely, that is also the case. So I was naturally good in quants. Because I had a strong academic background.
You said you were a topper in school also.
Yes. So because of that, I was naturally good in subjects like arithmetic, percentages, and all this. And I used to solve difficult questions as well easily. So that was one thing. And but then as years passed by, I think it was a few months to CAT when I was in my 4th year. So at that point of time, I thought that I need to do some serious preparation, and I joined one of the coaching centers in Noida.
And you had college also, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we are talking about that period when you had college and you had to prepare for CAT, which is a very typical situation that you all can relate with. हजारों बार ये क्वेश्चन आता है अंकल के हमारा कॉलेज है, how do you manage it with college? So इसने कैसे manage किया? That is what we are going to learn now. Yes, Sankalp.
So I would say that it is manageable, because when you are in the final year of your college, there are 3 things. One is definitely the college academics. At that point of time, somewhere in the back of your mind, you also start realizing that you have to get some good grades to improve your scores for the final selection procedure.
Right.
So that is something you have to manage your academics. Placements are going on, so you have to prepare for your placements, because again, being in the final year of college, you do not want to kind of get out of the college without getting placed. Doesn't matter that whether you want that job or not, but it's good to have those couple of companies attached to your profile that okay, you are selected there.
And moreover, it goes back to that attention thing, na Fufa ji, Jija ji wala.
Exactly.
Placed.
Exactly.
Yeah, so of course it matters.
So and specifically in engineering colleges, बोलते हैं लोग कि यार engineering करी तो नौकरी लगी कि नहीं लगी. That is the first question when you are when you graduate from engineering college. So placement preparation was also there, and apart from that, CAT preparation. So to be very honest, I was not able to manage my time properly. I would accept that when it comes to the CAT preparation. So I used to be very regular in my classes. I used to solve all the questions that they give, the DPPs and all. But apart from that, I was not making conscious efforts to kind of find out that what are the areas where I am lacking and how to work upon that.
Yes, but that's because you had college also along with that. So here, the good thing is that you prioritized.
Yeah.
You understood that college scores were definitely very important for you, and that placement along with that was important.
Yeah.
What happens, Sankalp, generally is that students start riding 2 boats at the same time, and they feel CAT preparation is very important, but they don't realize that okay, ये नहीं, अगर college वाला नहीं निकाला तो फिर आगे academics में black mark लग जाएगा.
Exactly.
Right.
So that is one thing which I kind of focused upon, and apart from that, placements is something. So I got some good, at least 3 offers were there in my hand when I kind of graduated from the college. I got a decent percentile in CAT that year, but it was not enough to get me into one of the top colleges. So that was something which was on my mind after I graduated. It was, I think, somewhere around 3 months to CAT, and I was hell-bent on that, I have to crack CAT this time somehow.
Okay, so let me get it correct over here. So when you took CAT the first time, that time you were not in your final year. Like, you were in the 3rd year or something.
I was in the final year.
Final year only. Okay, but when you graduated finally, then there were like 4 months to CAT. And then you decided to appear for it for the second time.
Second time, yes.
Okay, all right. Yep.
So I thought that, that is something which I was very sure that I wanted. There was no other distraction that, okay, let me do a job.
How badly did you want CAT?
As badly as, there's a saying that प्यासे को पानी पिला दो वाला kind of. So
okay.
I knew that. So I knew that I wanted it badly, and I had kind of, you know, in those last 3-4 months, I went all out. So
No, but there's one more thing. Sorry to interrupt. There's one more thing for the benefit of the audience that I need to know. You said that you were hell-bent on taking the exam. You were hell-bent on CAT and MBA. But were you fixated with the top IIMs, the Blackie, or did you have this opinion that, okay, a good college from where I can do MBA will be good for me? What was it?
So definitely the second case, because while I was preparing for my IIT, I realized that I made this mistake. I always only prepared for the IIT exams and did not focus on the other exams as such.
Right.
So that was one mistake which I realized, you know, that I did. So right now my focus was to get into one of the top colleges, be it through CAT, be it through ZAT, be it through, you know, any other SNAP and MAT, any college. I thought that I will not limit myself to, you know, any specific tag. But then having said this, there was always a desire to, you know, maybe to get one of the top colleges like an IIM. So that was there. But the preparations are almost the same. So I kind of prepared for all of them.
And you had 4 months, I remember you said.
4 months, and I would say in fact a little less than 4 months.
And you decided to go all out in those 4 months because the previous attempt did not give you, like, it had not given you that required percentile.
Exactly.
So what was it different this time that you did?
So I was always, as I said, naturally good in quants. So like apart from the preparation, what I did a self-preparation. I already had taken classes, I had material and stuff. A lot of, you know, stuff was available online. So I did a self-preparation. I only joined test series of different coaching institutes because I wanted to see that where, if, you know, I'm giving an all India mock kind of a thing, where do I stand as compared to the audience?
Okay.
That is something which was missing earlier in my preparation. So I did that.
So you took up test series?
Test series of at least 2-3 coaching institutions.
Okay. And why did you take up 2 or 3? For variety?
For variety, and just because, you know, as I said, I went all out. So I did not want to leave any chance.
Stone unturned in your preparation. Okay.
Exactly. So I started with that. I, you know, kind of, so I realized that I remember it was approximately 1 month to CAT. I had all my preparations done. I was giving tests and all. So I somehow started scoring low in VARC.
I was expecting that actually. Right.
So VARC kind of started becoming my pain point. And the scores for at least a couple of mocks, the scores were as low as that in actual CAT you would not even qualify in the section. And it was only 1 month to CAT. So that became a little bit concerning for me. But I thought that, so this is not something which can stop me. I have realized this, which is a good fact. I need to work upon it. So I started giving a lot of sectional mocks of VARC.
Right.
And one thing that I did was, if the sectional mock was of 1 hour, I used to spend 2 hours extra on analyzing it. Because I realized that what happened, out of the 4 options, I was able to narrow down to 2 options. But then out of those 2, I always used to mark the wrong one.
Okay, that is something so natural.
Exactly. So I thought that while analyzing, I said that what is that fact that is coming to my mind at that last moment that I'm marking the wrong answer?
You mean to say, like, okay, how did I think differently from the actual way?
Exactly.
So you started changing your thought process accordingly.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
So that is how I worked upon it. I gave at least 2 sectional mocks every day, and eventually my VARC scores in the mock started improving. It improved to a good level, and I am happy to inform that in the actual exam, I scored the highest in VARC.
You see that? So that is why I had said that quote in the beginning, that hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work very hard. So he had a talent for QA and he did not have anything for VA, but then, you know, he started working very hard for VARC and he made tables turn for himself. And as he just said, he had scored the maximum in VARC, like out of all the 3 sections. Wow, that's amazing. And he spoke about sectionals. So when we talk about hard work along the journey, the prep journey, there are certain things that are very important. अभी तक तो जैसे संकल्प ने बताया ही बहुत सारी चीजें, And this thing, the mocks and the mock analysis thing, you really need to get associated with a good platform where you can take mocks, and then you need to do the analysis. If your analysis is not good enough, sit with your educators, reach out to them, and then you can maybe wrap your head around it. Yes, Sankalp. So you got the highest marks out of all the 3 sections. The best was in VARC. Okay.
And I think that also helped me a lot in kind of improving my overall CAT percentile.
Okay.
So that was it. But I remember that after VRC was very good, DILR was a little bit off as I felt. So I remember coming out of the examination and my parents were there to pick me up, and I was like, kuch nahi ho sakta. So that was my initial 3 words which I still remember, and I was kind of disappointed with my attempt. So they were very supportive at that time. They said that okay,
कोई बात नहीं, चलो,
it's okay,
शादी आपकी कर लेंगे, सोचते हैं, no?
Yeah, something like that, and especially in Agarwal, so it is one of the
Agarwal's, yes.
major
so
factors.
पापा का business है या मतलब you can come back to the family, get married, settle down.
Yep.
So parents must have started thinking on those lines.
Definitely they would have started on those lines. But at the same time, so they said that it's one of the greatest advices that mentors also give, that it is okay. First, let us analyze that how the paper was. First, let us understand the response of other people as well, other students. And we got to know that actually DILR was a little hard at that point of time. So after a few days, I gave other examinations as well. And I was pretty confident. It was, I think, December end, January first week. I was pretty confident that I will definitely crack some of the good college. And I said that I didn't want to limit myself to, a particular league of colleges. So now the next step was, the GDPI preparation. So right now I was preparing, doing self-study out of my hometown, Agra.
Yes.
So I thought that for GDPI I need exposure. I need smart people around me who can debate with me, who can discuss with me, and I need to compete with them.
Yeah.
Sitting at home, I used to compete with those students through the All India mock test series, but that is not possible for GDPI. So I immediately took a decision. Within 2 days I was in Delhi. I landed in Delhi. I kind of, again,
you enrolled somewhere and then you got started with your GDPI preparation.
Exactly.
So how long did that last? Like 15 days, 20 days? What was it?
It lasted for around 1.5 months.
Okay.
And
did it give you the required exposure that you wanted?
Definitely, because during this time the results came out and I scored a good percentile. So I kind of enrolled into the batches where other people have also scored great percentiles, and there were students in those batches from not just from engineering colleges but from colleges like Delhi University and all. So I think we had a group discussion. So I was also naturally good in communication. So during my engineering days as well, during the placement days, I was one of the top performers in the GD. So but then having to that was limited in a very among the students with whom I was already studying with for 4 years. A lot of them people I already knew, I had conversed with. I had a confidence already. I knew that okay, these people are not at much par with my GD skills. So I went in with that confidence during my engineering days. But here I was facing people from multiple colleges, students who had a profile from journalism or mass media or something like that.
So people who were better than you actually.
Which I wanted to think when I went. But then practicing with them, and I realized that okay, these are the areas which I can work upon further.
It's actually always a good thing, Sankalp, isn't it? When you need to learn something, you should mix with people who are better than you actually.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is how you prepared for your GDPI, and then I'm sure when you walked in for the interviews, you must have felt very confident about yourself.
Yeah, because also one of the reason was that in those 1.5 year time span, 1.5 months of time span, I remember I worked very hard, and so I prepared about my academics, and I would say that I revised all the concepts that I've learned in my engineering in all 4 years, and this time the preparation was better than my placement preparation.
Okay.
Now coming to other aspects which they can ask you in the interview about your hobbies or where are you from. So I am from Agra, and I remember I opened the Wikipedia page of Taj Mahal and Agra, and I kind of ratified the entire pages of both. So I was like, if they ask me,
पूछ के देखो कुछ भी, मैं बता
कुछ भी
देता
पूछ
हूँ,
लो,
हाँ.
and I would talk about it and I will give you facts that you also don't know to amuse you kind of. So because
Yes.
in interview it's all about cracking a conversation. So I prepared that. One of my hobbies is photography. So photography mein there are a lot of technical things which kind of I came to know about when I started preparing about photography.
Right.
Rather than kind of while clicking the photos, there were certain aspects which I knew for sure. But then more than that, I came to know about when I started reading about it from the interviews point of view. Then I read a lot about the geopolitical and the economic events that were happening. I read about it and I tried to form my own opinion about it. So,
yes, that's a very important thing, to form your own opinion on whatever is going around, because sometimes students, what they do is they just read that part and they just go, and if the conversation comes up, they just give whatever they have read.
Yeah.
But then it's so important to build your own perspective. And that I think is possible only when you read the opinion columns, the editorials and all, right? Yes.
So in interview, it is very important to form your own opinion, because if the interviewer tries to contradict you, what you are saying, so until unless you have a clarity of mind that okay, this is what I think, you won't be able to justify it there. So have facts, form your own opinion. That is something which is very important, and I worked upon it very hard. In a nutshell, I put in a lot of effort because I wanted to convert each and every call that I had and leave no stones unturned.
Yeah.
So that is something which I
So
focused
this was
on.
your second attempt, and you had learned a little bit from your mistakes of the previous time, and then of course you realized that VARC was your pain point actually, so you worked on that. And then I was especially impressed by when by the point when you said that you had actually learned about your town also, something as simple as that.
Yeah.
Because before interviews, people should actually note down the pointers that okay, these are the loopholes, these are the points where they can ask us. So you did not leave any point, anything as such. Okay. But how were those 2 years for you at Kashipur? I mean, what people do is sometimes they just get admission to IIMs and then they feel stressed out by the work that is there. They get intimidated and then they kind of keep cribbing about it. Bhai, khatam ho jaye. I'm looking forward to the placement day. Jab matlab mujhe job mil jaye finally and I can walk out of this place and start earning. So is it actually that bad, or do you have fond memories of those 2 years?
So I would openly say that those 2 years at IIM are so far the best years of my life.
Wow, nice.
And why do I say this? Because I remember it was approximately 30-40 odd days when I was there, and I was talking to my mom on my phone, and I was telling her that in those last 40 days, each and every day I have learned something new, and each and every day I can feel that I have improved myself in some way or the other.
Nice.
And that continued for a very, very long time. So, and in fact, a lot of people would know that the initial few days are the hardest, because you have those sessions wherein you you have to give selections for the committees which are there in the IIMs. So you have to manage your academics, manage the case studies. You are not very much friends with most of the people, so you are kind of, it's a great opportunity to network. So you are meeting people, that also takes time. Okay. Then all these factors, so because of that, a lot of times students feel stressed, but those are the moments, or those are the initial few months wherein you will kind of be able to groom yourself. You will be able to, if you push yourself to the limits, you will understand that okay, this is not my limit, I can do wonders out of myself. So that is something which students should definitely focus upon. And as I said, that those 2 years were the most amazing of my life. I enjoyed each and every day of it, and if given a chance, I would definitely want to live those moments again.
Wow, that's nice. And you spoke in the beginning, you said something about I was very clear about management roles.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into those positions. That's why even after engineering, you had that clear thing in your mind. So now that you are placed comfortably in a job, what kind of things are you doing, and how does this role satisfy that particular desire that you had?
So right now I'm working in a leading unicorn startup, and the day-to-day decisions that I make which could have an impact on the user base, or which could kind of, so I'm looking at the growth functions. So if I start to run a campaign at a certain cost and I'm expecting that my user base will increase by X amount, if I'm able to achieve that result, so that is something where I feel that, okay, I'm in control of things. This is something which I always wanted to do, that I am able to run those campaigns, I am able to achieve those desired results in the outer world, not in a project kind of a thing. Because when you do a project, it's good to do it, but it's a very hypothetical thing. But when you are in the corporate world, you would be, you have to make a decision which would cost the company some few lakhs or crores as well.
Right.
And if it doesn't turn out well, then obviously you might feel pressurized about it. But if it turns out well, that is a story in itself, which might be followed by other people in the company, or other business units in the company. So getting to have that sense of power and responsibility at the same time, that is something, that is a position which I kind of always wanted to be in, and which is, I think I am right now.
So currently you are quite happy with wherever you are?
I'm definitely happy with what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
At least the kind of job satisfaction that you had always wanted, that is something that is there with you. And where do you see yourself down the line? I mean, since you have done MBA and you are doing the kind of roles that you had always wanted to be in, so where do you see yourself going after this?
So I think it's a very fruitful and a satisfying journey which I am currently in, and I look forward to continuing in this journey. Having said this, I kind of do not make much of a plans, like people make plans what is something for you 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, because I think that a lot of times things happen to you, and then you kind of, it is very important to adapt and maybe change your plans as well.
Very true.
So definitely I see myself doing this more often, and also open to what all opportunities which I would face along the way.
That's wonderful to hear all those things, from you, and that gives me such positive vibes actually. So you have no regrets at all doing MBA, or like for whatever the journey has been, no regrets as such so far?
So I think I do not have any regrets. Definitely not for the MBA, but not for the other part of my journey as well, because it has been definitely full of hard work and a lot of failures as well. Sometimes people think that if given a chance, I would do things in some other way, or I would set those things right. I would say no, it's okay. It's very important to have some failures as well in your life.
Yeah, and you learn from those mistakes.
Because you learn from them. And another very important point is that in life, in going forward, your life can never be foolproof, that you'll never have a failure. But if you've already managed failures previously, going forward, you know how to come back, how to bounce back and do better than what you were expecting. So that is something which is very important.
I'm super happy to hear whatever you had to say. Now, I'm just going to ask you a few words, okay? And when I say the word, you have to just say what comes to mind. It could be anything. Like if I say chocolate, you can say love. It can be anything, So I'm just going to give you the words and you just say what pops to your mind. Okay, fine. So let me get started with this. Professor.
Rajat Sharma.
Okay. Memorable moment.
Me seeing the letter where it was written that congratulations, you are selected into the IIM.
Okay. MBA.
Want to relive it again.
Okay. Hard work.
Very important in life. It takes you places.
Okay. Goal.
Something that you should be flexible about, and once you are sure that okay, this is my goal, you kind of go and achieve. You put in everything to achieve that.
Happiness.
Depends.
On what?
So it depends upon a lot of things. You have to be very self-aware of yourself, and if you are self-aware, obviously there are certain things which you would look forward to. Achieve that and you will be happy in life.
Okay. I think he answered those questions very well, guys. So I hope you all learned some things from whatever he said. for me, I got very positive vibes. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for sharing these important things, for giving us these insights. Now, before we wrap it up, any powerful message that you would like to hand out to the viewers?
I think one of the message which I also kind of stand by is that so there's a shairi which is also there on my Instagram page. It is not mine, but I really like it. वहाँ तूफान भी हार जाते हैं जहाँ कश्तियाँ जिद पर होती हैं. So that is something which is the motto which I follow. If you have seen a dream, go all out for it, do the hard work, and dreams do come true.
Wow, that's very nice. Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And guys, keep working hard. Definitely you'll be able to do it. If he could do it by dint of hard work, so can you. Thank you.